reflecting on my job shadow experience at CH2M Hill in approximately 2007-2008. So I'm filming this over 15 years later. Today is Tuesday, 21 January 2025. I am Tanis she, her, hers of Seattle. I'm going to reflect on my experience going on a job shadow at CH2M Hill during my sophomore year of high school, so the 2007 to 2008 academic year, with the person I was shadowing being a civil engineer with a focus in odor engineering. Yes. So as part of my sophomore high school, I was in standard English. Only person in my generation of my family to take standard English, non-honors English. And as part of our curriculum, we had kind of a professional development part of the curriculum. And we had to read a book on a career we were interested in, and I was really interested. I had that, dream of being an assassin because I got really into the Bourne movies when I was growing up because they came out when I was growing up. And so I was like, I want to be an assassin. Okay, fine, maybe the FBI or CIA. So I read this book by this woman who worked at the FBI, and I did my book report, my written report on that. And I looked into, could I job shadow at the FBI or CIA? And they didn't have necessarily job shadow, but they did have internship opportunities. I actually looked this up, and I actually got emails from the CIA all the way through my time at the University of Hawaii at Manoa in Honolulu, Hawaii. Okay. So I actually legit was pew pew, mode. And so I was like, fine, that's not really an option. So I was like, maybe I should choose something boring. And I was like, how about engineering? Because I'm kind of a boring person. But I don't really like engineering. I'm more of a science and mathematics person, and mathematics / science. But I was like, for a career, in the standard professional world, the engineering's mathematics and science are the rarity, so to speak. Okay, and so I was like, okay, engineering. And so I talked to my dad, and my dad was my pointer. He pointed to a father of someone I worked with at the pool, who was younger than me though. So did we work together yet? So Jan was the name of the dad of Shayla, and Shayla and I worked together as lifeguards and swim instructors and stuff. But I don't remember if we taught together. But we were lifeguards together at the neighborhood pool. And so the dad, Jan, worked at CH2M Hill as a civil engineer with a focus in odor engineering. So we had all this paperwork we actually had to go through, and we had to write up a report and all of that stuff. And so I contacted him, I think, and then I went physically on location to CH2M Hill in the greater Seattle area to his office, and he took me in, and they sat me down when I got there, and they were like, welcome to CH2M Hill. People other than him, they had a whole procedure for this, and they gave me all the CH2M Hill swag, and then I gotta go sit kind of by his office area, and he showed me he had a patent, and then there was on display, and then there was he had gotten a certificate because the day before they had eaten the haggis, and he was like, well, I'd offer you some haggis, but we ate it yesterday. And so he had this certificate about how he ate the haggis. And so essentially it was me shadowing him to see what he did in a day and what that entailed. And he kind of talked about the culture of engineering, but also the company. And then let's see, and he kind of was like, and then if you want to go on in school, some people actually go back for a master's degree, maybe an MBA or a master's in engineering or something like that. Later, they won't necessarily go back right away. They'll go back later because it kind of helps with their understanding, just business operations. It's I've been working here for a while, and then and they have their bachelor's degree, and maybe they've gone on and gotten their professional engineering license, and then they kind of go, I've been here for a few years and I still don't quite understand this process. Maybe if I get an MBA, I'll understand. So they get it, and it it makes their job way easier because they can now understand the business side of things. Or if they don't understand it, they can start to work through it because they got that MBA. So it was kind of interesting because I learned not just about about the career, the profession, and not just the company or my friend's dad. I learned a bit about there's a bachelor's degree, but there's stuff beyond a bachelor's degree as well. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And he did stuff with odor engineering, is like taking the odor emitted during a process and turning it into like sustainable energy or a sustainable fuel source kind of thing. So it's like, he was like, that's still cutting edge. Yeah, and he shared and kind of like talked through some of what he was doing, and I was just like, I'm just trying to remember the like overarching process. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was like, I like mathematics, and this is like, there's like mathematics, and then applied mathematics, which is science, and then there's applied science, which is engineering. So it was like, it's like getting further and further out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I'm gonna, so that's a little bit about reflecting on it. In terms of tangents, I have brought up me potentially going back and getting a PhD in physics, going back to school and getting a PhD in physics. I do not have a PhD or a master's degree. My current highest, the level of education, like as in terms of degree attained, I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Hawaii at Manoa in Honolulu, Hawaii. And so if I want to go and get like, I say a PhD in physics in Italy, which I've brought up for multiple, meaning 2 or more years on this channel. I've brought up, I think back in 2024, so I got to bring it into 2025. Me potentially, if that happened, maybe going to like an architecture conference and looking, you know, kind of just walking up and down and being like, squirrel homes, right, in safety for buildings from falling trees, right? It was like the thing I'd be looking for. It's like, for all I know, as a tangent, maybe I end up giving to civil engineering, and I in my physics end up coming up with something that's revolutionary for building design, and then all civil engineers get to integrate into their work. They get to build their work upon my foundational Tanis equation for civil engineers, you know. So there's stuff like that. Hello, welcome back. And that's true outside of civil engineering as well. But I was like, yeah, it could come around in a very different way than I had thought of, even at the time of the job shadow kind of thing. So there we go. And I am Tanis Corley Leonardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and that's me reflecting on my job shadow experience at CH2M Hill in approximately 2007, 2008.